Jake never believed in urban legends until the night he saw something impossible. It started as an ordinary evening. He stood in the dimly lit bathroom, brushing his teeth, half asleep. The only sound was the rhythmic scraping of bristles against enamel. He glanced up at the mirror, expecting to see his own tired face staring back, but something felt off. His reflection lagged behind, moving just a fraction of a second too late. At first he assumed it was his imagination, a trick of exhaustion. But then his reflection smiled. Jake's heart pounded. He hadn't smiled. He hadn't moved at all. His breath hitched as the grin in the mirror stretched wider, unnatural, almost hungry. He took a shaky step back. His reflection remained still. Then it raised its hand. Jake's real hands remained clenched at his sides, paralyzed with fear. A wave of nausea twisted his stomach. That wasn't him. That thing wasn't him. The air around him felt suddenly thick, suffocating. The lights flickered, and then the power went out. Click the link for Part 2. Darkness swallowed the room, but before everything turned black, he saw it. The reflection wasn't just moving on its own anymore, it was stepping out. Jake stumbled backward, crashing into the sink. He fumbled for his phone in the darkness, hands shaking as he unlocked the screen and turned on the flashlight. A narrow beam of light cut through the blackness, illuminating the empty mirror. His reflection was gone. A chill ran down his spine. He wasn't alone. The bathroom door creaked. Jake spun around, shining his flashlight toward the hallway. A shadowy figure stood just outside the doorway. It looked exactly like him, but the grin was still there, stretching too wide, revealing teeth that weren't quite human. Who are you? Jake's voice cracked. The thing cocked its head, eyes glinting in the dim light. I'm you. Jake's pulse thundered in his ears. This wasn't real. It couldn't be real. He forced himself to move, to run. He bolted past the figure, heart hammering as he sprinted down the hallway toward his room. But as he threw open the door, he froze. Inside, standing next to his bed, was his reflection. The real one. Jake turned slowly. The imposter was still in the hallway, but now it wasn't smiling anymore. Its lips curled downward, eyes narrowing in irritation. You weren't supposed to see, it murmured, voice dripping with something cold and ancient. Jake took a step back. The reflection in his room mirrored him perfectly, expression filled with the same horror that twisted his own features. Help me, it whispered. The imposter lunged. Jake barely had time to react before he was yanked backward. His back slammed into cold glass, and suddenly, everything was wrong. He was inside the mirror, looking out. He pounded against the glass, screaming. On the other side, the imposter adjusted its shirt, rolled its shoulders, and turned toward the door. Jake's mother called from downstairs. Jake, you okay up there? The imposter grinned. Yeah, Mom, be right there. Jake watched helplessly as his reflection, his life, walked away. And then the lights turned off.